I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So I wanted to start right away just introducing us to you because so many of you have been corresponding with us or talking with us back and forth through the admissions process, before the admissions process. I'm Dr. Bill Hefley, and as I was saying a minute ago, I'm just Dr. Bill or just Bill. William is on my legal things, but everybody knows me as Bill. I'm the program director for the Analytics Cohort program. Fatima is our program manager for the cohort and the online program. And so she works with both Professor Schecker for the online program and myself for the cohort program. Our offices for all of the business analytics team, Fatima, Sivia Leventhal, who is the program manager for the Flex program, Professor Schecker and myself are all right around the corner from each other up on the third floor. So you can't, once you find one of us, you're going to find all of us. It's just, it's kind of the analytics corner. We've kind of taken over a little corner of the world there. And that's a great thing to know. We are in the Jindal building. While we're talking about buildings, one thing that is brand new today, I don't know who's been to campus physically before. You might remember right in front of the Jindal School, there were a couple of parking lots. We lose one of those parking lots next Monday for construction. So you'll see signs directing you. It's just be aware of that if you're coming into campus Monday and looking for parking, because there is a huge new building going in right next to us. It's the first of a 3-building complex that is going to extend our arts and performance venues. So the Crow Museum of Art is going to have an outpost in that building and some other great spaces. So let me go ahead and I'm going to jump off of the video for just a minute and pop up my slides. And I'm working with 2 monitors, so I have to find where the cursor went to. And here we are. And so what I was hoping to do is find the lost cursor again. There we are. Okay. That's the wrong thing. All right. One of the big things that people are talking to us about right now is enrollment. And so let's start there because it's so important. I want to talk about registration with you. One of the things that you heard Dean Powell talk about was Coursebook, or she called it Course Lookup. One of the things that is really important for you to know for the cohort and the online program is when you look at Coursebook and you're using the guided search to find courses, down at the bottom, there is a option that says other options, and you have to say include special classes. And our classes are always the ones that begin with a section number that has an S, like Sam or Sally or silly, or your favorite S word. But the SWs are online courses. The S's, like SS1 or SU1, would be a face-to-face cohort class. And so it's important to know that, because if you go to Coursebook and just look for Buon courses, what you'll find are all of the Flex program courses. And since Flex is so much bigger, you're going to get inundated with all of those courses and never find ours. Another thing that's really important, Fatima's just been talking with me about it before this session, is making sure you understand the course descriptions and the course requirements. So, for example, Buon 6356, we're going to talk about today as a typical first semester course, Business Analytics with R, but it has a prerequisite or co-requisite that says you must also be enrolled in or have completed the Advanced Statistics course. It's really important as you go through your program that you become familiar with the catalog and the degree requirements. Dean Powell mentioned that, and I've been having discussions today and yesterday as grades started coming out for spring with students about what does it really mean? What are the requirements that I have to graduate? And so it's important to know that as you plan your classes and you think about this. Some of you have asked us about holds, and there are two kinds of holds. There's and I'm going to use the word negative holds, and they're the bad ones. They're the ones that say they're on your to-do list and you have to do something. We need your transcripts. You have to get your medical tests done. You have to pay your fees, or you haven't paid your fees and the bursar is shaking their finger at you, or whatever those are. And there's several categories of those. But then there's also some indicators that we call positive service indicators. And one of them is cannot register online. And we're going to talk about that because Fatima sent you all registration materials for either the cohort or the online program. And we handle the registrations for you. The other hold you're going to see says executive education, and that's a flag to tell the bursar not to worry about your finances because it's handled by our finance office in the executive education area. So those are holds that you will always have, and those are good holds to have. They kind of protect you and let you make sure that you're going to get into our classes. Our classes always get scheduled last because of the order the registrar does things in. And so many times the Flex program will already start registering. Their courses will be filling up, and students will be pounding on our doors or sending us email saying, Bill, I need in this class. I'm saying, time out. You know, don't go bother Fatima too. You've already talked to me. You don't need to talk to her, and you don't need to panic because you're looking at the Flex course, and yeah, it's full, but don't worry about it because our sections are protected for you. So understand, we're going to take care of getting you registered into your courses. Your obligations are making sure you do those things to protect that registration. Make sure you pay your bill. Make sure if you're a new student, and these won't all apply to everybody, like the TB test, that applies to incoming international students. If you're coming in as an international student, you have to do your check-in with ISSO and give them your I-94 information. You have to complete international orientation. And there's a number of things like that. If you're under a certain age, you must have the meningitis vaccine or proof of that. And so there's a number of these things that you have to do if you haven't sent your final degree certificates and transcripts. You'll need to do that, have them sent from your university to us. Because right now we may be able to register you for summer, but in just a few weeks when we start registering for fall, if those aren't here yet, you're going to have another kind of a negative hold that says cannot register because you haven't supplied your transcripts. So these are all things to think about. And I know registration is on top of everybody's mind. So I wanted to start there tonight. Billing will pop up in your portal. If you aren't registered or haven't received the information about registering, please send us mail right away. For those of you that have scholarships, those are going to be applied to your billing account after the last day for add drop. We don't apply those until the add drop period closes because we don't know who's going to stay enrolled in which courses until that date. So billing happens and then scholarships get applied. And then because health insurance comes from an entirely different office, that will post to your account later. So that's the other thing I want to mention to you as a surprise to students sometimes is, but Bill, I paid my bill. Yes, you did. But after you paid your bill, your health insurance posted, and you've got to stay on top of that and pay that bill also. And international students that are enrolled in classes automatically get assessed the health insurance. An important thing for you to remember is if you already have insurance, and I was talking before we started about where people were traveling from, and we've got a couple of people that are moving from within the state. If you already have health insurance and your health insurance will cover you while you're here as a student. Maybe it's your parents' policy, maybe it's a spouse's policy, maybe it's private insurance that you already have. You can request a waiver of the student health insurance fee. There's a website to go to, and you have to fill out a form, and there's a deadline every semester to file that waiver so they don't bill you. But I want to mention that because that can save you several $100s if you're already paying for insurance in some other way. One of the things that we think about in terms of enrollment, there's a number of kind of things we have to keep in mind. If you're a new master's student, there's a program prerequisite that is the MAS 6102 Professional Development. We don't offer that course in the summer, so all of our new summer students will need to take that in the fall. So that's something to remember. If you're arriving on campus as an international student, you must be enrolled in at least one face-to-face class. So as we work through your registration, if Fatima or I see that there's no face-to-face class on your request, we're going to reach back out to you and double check with you about that. The other thing that surprises people is we do not have 3 equal length semesters throughout the year. Our fall and spring are 16 weeks long. Our summer is only 11. But a 3-credit course covers the same material, whether it's in 16 weeks or 11 weeks. So in the long semesters, fall and spring, full-time load is considered 9 units. In summer, it's only 6. So I know Fatima's had a number of people that said, I want to register for 12 units because I'm strong and I'm ready and I really want to exceed and excel and finish fast. And we always come back and say, do you realize that, 6 is full time? And so you're doing a double full-time load if you try to do 12 in summer, and very few people can do it successfully. So that's something to keep in mind as you're thinking about your scheduling. If you haven't received registration information from Fatima or MS Buon Cohort or MS Buon Online, please reach out to us and make sure that we've got that information to you so you can register. If you owe us transcripts, like I said, we're going to be coming up on fall registration soon, and the registrar is going to be looking for those. Admissions is going to be expecting those to be here. So if you have to get those completed and sent to us, please start working on getting those sent from your universities. They need to come to the university in a sealed envelope from the university. It can't be something that you open the envelope and bring to us, because then it's considered unofficial. If I reach around behind me here somewhere on the table behind me, I have one of those. It was I needed a transcript for something for the university a couple of years ago, and I asked for one to be sent to me, and then I opened it up, and the minute I opened it up, it's no longer official. So I have an unofficial transcript on the table right behind me here. Now, I mentioned this concierge level of service. You cannot do the add drops yourself. Those holds are going to remain with you, but we're going to be here to work with you to make sure you get registered for your courses, do any of your adds or drops, approve your internship requests, do advising. And I have on my tray there, I have kind of the normal long semester set of courses that an initial student might take. The MAS 6102, and I'm going to mention something about that because I have some folks that are on the call who are going to be moving within Texas. The MAS 6102, if you have several years of US-based work experience, you may request a waiver of that course. On the other hand, I kind of like to suggest everybody take it, because we'll talk about what it is later, but it really is a great introduction to getting you ready to going out on the job market and going after those great positions that our students are landing. I approved another internship today that, this is an entry-level internship, and their starting salary was about $34, $35 an hour. Fatima, don't cringe at that. You know, it's just like some of our graduates make more money than I make. You know, it's just kind of, I have to accept that's a fact of life. You know, so if you haven't registered yet with us, I think this is about the 4th time I've said it, please get with us right away and make sure we do that. Our students come from all over. I'm always surprised to see where our students have come from, to see where they go to. I might mention internships. About 55 to 65% of our internships are in the state of Texas. The rest are all over the US and over the world. I've had students do internships in Japan, China, India, Canada. Fatima, can you think of any others that you've seen besides those countries? You're muted.
Oh, I believe I've seen Vietnam.
Okay. Yeah.
Before I was in advising, I remember having students in France and Germany who did internships there.
Right. So our students really do go, and COVID has slowed this down a little bit, but our students do intern in lots of interesting places. And the young lady who went to Canada, her actual final presentation for her summer project was she and her boss flew to corporate headquarters in Seoul, Korea. So she not only worked in Canada for the summer, but she also got an all expense paid business trip to Korea out of the deal. So our students come from all over. A lot of our students have backgrounds in computer science or engineering or IT. Another large group comes from a business background. And then the third group is what I would call others. And others ranges everywhere from English literature and history to, we had a nuclear physicist in the program a couple of years ago. And so, the others run the gamut of disciplines. Some of our students come in with 5 or more years of work experience. We've had some who have 15 or 20 years of work experience coming in. A large number are in the category of 2 to 5 years. And some are what we might call true, college graduates, freshers that are coming in that are just arriving from the university. They may have had a couple of internships, but they're going on for a graduate program. And their work experience is just as varied as their backgrounds. So you'll find a really interesting group of people that are here. And that's part of what makes this fun. Well, we're getting started. You're joining the new batch. Think about this as an airplane trip. We're getting on the runway. We're starting to get ready to take off. You're going to get up to altitude. You're going to start developing your skills. You're going to start developing your electives and your tracks. You're going to start developing your soft skills even further than they are now. And then you're going to head out as an intern and a new hire. And that's the trajectory we want to prepare you for. Our students graduate. I don't have a graduation picture. I've just got a cool whoosh here in the front of the building. But our students take off and whoosh and do all kinds of great things. A couple of years back, we had a team that won a major competition over at a sister school, UT Arlington. They came in first place. The UT Arlington competition said, we might take a couple of your teams if you'd like to send them. And we had 24 teams from UTD express interest. They accepted 15, and 2 of the top 3 were UT Dallas. So we took first and third that year. UT Arlington only squeaked out second. So our teams do fantastic. We're highly rated as a program. You heard Dean Powell mention the Owlies. We had in 3 years ago in the Owlies, we had people nominated in all of the major categories, and we had winners there and finalists in the Owlies. And same thing again this year. Professor Schecker won the Faculty of the Year in 22. I won it back in 19. Our students are going to international events like Grace Hopper and presenting at conferences, and our faculty are presenting about things that we're doing. Our rankings, in MBA specialties, we're highly ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Our IS programs are tied for 17th in the nation. Our business analytics program is ranked, depending on how you look at it, number 10 or number 17 or number 13, or we're ranked as number 5 in similar programs. Depending on the rankings, we do very, very well in our rankings, and employers see that. I've had employers tell me that they had 100 applicants, they down selected and interviewed maybe 20 or 30. They then down selected and actually brought 10 in for interviews. They were only going to hire one student, and they had candidates from all of the top schools, Stanford, UT Dallas, all of the schools. And when they got all done, they said, we only had one internship, but we made 2 offers, and we made both of them to UT Dallas students. And one of them turned them down because she had an amazing job somewhere else that was offered to her. So they did manage to snag one of our interns. So, our students are highly in demand. You heard Dean Powell talk about the master's oath, and we demonstrate professionalism in what we do, and begin with the end in mind. Think about where you're going. Think about that job, that internship, and how you're going to get there. Why the MSBA? It's because data is driving the world. Data is the new oil. The Economist says, Harvard Business Review says data and science is the sexiest job in the U.S. We've had speakers come in from Walmart. Dr. Neelab Pant from Walmart Labs has come in and talked to our students, and he says, for every 1 data scientist we hire, we're hiring 8 data engineers. There's fantastic job opportunities out there. And in fact, Dallas is such a hotbed for this that Walmart, who's known for being up in Arkansas, and everything is up at Walmart headquarters, they've actually opened the Walmart Labs right here in Plano, just a few miles from campus, because this is where they're able to hire and recruit and train people. The jobs that our students go to: data scientists, data engineers, data analysts, BI developers, and then all of the functional analysts that have a data science or business analytics component in it. This is a STEM program, and our students do really well. So let's talk about the degree program to get there. We've talked about the catalog already. Your GPAs, and this is something Fatima and I track in dealing with probations and dealing with your degree audits. There are 3 GPAs that you're going to want to watch. One is your program GPA, and that's all of your grade point average for the courses in your program, those 36 units that you need to graduate, or 37 or 38, depending on how you manage your courses. Your core GPA, that's your GPA in those 6 core courses for the degree. And then your overall GPA, which is all of your graduate coursework at UT Dallas. I have had over the years a very small number of students, and I'm really proud to say this semester we don't have any in this category, woohoo, who, Fatima's smiling at that one. We got the data today. We have a small number of students who did go on probation. That always happens, but we had nobody who was dismissed this time. So if you've been on probation 3 semesters, the catalog says that I don't get a say, Fatima doesn't get a say, Dean Percool doesn't get a say. The graduate dean at the university up there says, hasta la vista, baby, bye-bye, you're dismissed. And that's something to keep in mind. I don't want to spend a lot of time on negatives because I want to talk about the positives. I mentioned audits. So as you come in and get registered this semester, Fatima is going to establish your initial audit, and then we'll track your courses as you go along and track your GPA as you go along. If you ever want to see that, reach out to us and we'll get it for you. And you can see on the website the traditional degree plans, and I'm just going to pull up one now. So data science track, and this applies to both cohort program and the online program. Typical first semester offerings, and I'm saying this first semester for a long semester if you're taking 10 units. In summer, you might take less, and so that pushes things out a little bit. But typical intro courses you would take would be your statistics, which is a prerequisite for business analytics with R. You would do your database foundations course, your business analytics with R, and your professional development. As I said, for summer starts, professional development will roll into fall for you. So that's a typical first semester load. If you're in the do I have anybody from the accounting analytics track in the cohort program with us tonight? I don't think so. This is another thing that adds a lot of variety and makes our program really interesting on the cohort side, is we do have a number of students who are on the accounting analytics track, and some of those students are also doing a double degree MS accounting and MS business analytics. So they have a slightly different sequence of courses to work their both degrees together. I've already talked about the first semester, typical first semester courses. And so if you're taking 2 only this summer, many times what we'll see people do is they'll do statistics and they'll do their database course and leave the business analytics with R for fall. Transfers and waivers, I've given you the links there. If you have prior graduate work that you're going to try to transfer in, it's important to start that process as early as you can, especially if you're trying to waive out of a course or transfer in a course. We do see students trying to waive into, and I have this slide coming up later, I don't have it right here, coming into the database course. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but I always caution people to make sure your prior courses cover the right content. Now, something you heard Dean Powell say, we talked about the master's oath. You know, we're all professionals, we're going to act like it. Academic integrity is something you heard Dr. Reichert talk about. I'm going to confess to you right now, I serve on the discipline committee. I serve as a hearing officer. I'm hearing cases of individuals who've been reported for academic integrity. You know, they copied something, they copied from their friend. They did a take-home test and one roommate did it first, then the other roommate did it because they had the answers from the first one. You know, all kinds of things happen. My advice to you is plain and simple. Don't do it, and here's why. Is anybody enrolling in a new degree program? Any of you folks going to join a new degree program? This is like graduation. You say, well, all the alumni stand up and the new graduates don't realize they're alumni yet. Do you folks know you're starting a new degree? Of course you do. But you want it to be valuable because you want those employers to lust for you and want you and pay you great money. If your degree gets known as being a diploma mill where people can just come in and go to the file cabinet and find the answers for the tests and turn them in, it's going to devalue your degree and it's going to lower the quality of the kinds of positions you get and the salaries you're going to get. So this matters to each and every one of us. And so it's something that we really want to talk about during orientation and say, you know, please stop and think about what you're doing and don't do these things. Usually, when do I see them come up? I ran out of time, so it was easier to do something else. Or I didn't want to say I didn't know. It's okay to say you don't know because that tells the professor you need to go back and recover something or help that student or hook them up with a TA or a tutor. And that's something else that we do in the cohort program is we always have one tutor or more assigned to the program that's available to help people. And so that's another reason why there's really no excuse for these academic integrity issues. I mentioned the professional development course. It helps you make sure your resume is ready. You start building your networking skills. You start understanding the importance of networking. You know, I think about the student that comes into my office and they're downtrodden and they look beat and they're just dragging. and they're going, Dr. Bill, I can't find an internship. No, the world's coming to an end. What do I do? And I go, well, tell me what you're doing. And basically what they say is, well, I'm sitting in front of my computer and everything I see that looks like a job, I blast a resume to it. And that is something that we want you to understand out of this professional development course is that's not the right approach. That's not the best approach, and it's not going to get you the highest paying positions. And employers are recruiting. They're already starting to recruit now. You know, they're still finishing summer, but they're already starting to look at fall. In the fall, they're going to be looking at next summer already. So that we want to get you ready and get you prepared. And that's what this course does for us. Employers report that a lot of times why they terminate people is because they don't show up. We had a graduation speaker this last week who talked, one of the things he talked about was just the importance of showing up. If you show up, you're present, you're on time, you're prepared, you're going to learn, you're going to do things. And so that's important. It's important to learn about our ethics. You heard Dean Powell and Dr. Reichert talk about, not reneging on a job. We're going to talk about your LinkedIn profile, your resume, interviewing skills. All of these things are really important to get you prepared for the job market. Now, here's where I said waivers. If you have an undergraduate degree, so let's talk about I'm going to use the stats course as an example. If you have an undergraduate degree in statistics, or you have 6 credits of undergraduate statistics, or 3 credits of graduate coursework that's equivalent, you could request a waiver. You'll need to have had a B or better. It needs to have been completed in the last 6 years. It has to be from an accredited college, can't be experiential or work-based, and we will need the syllabus for that course to go along with your waiver request. So we'll need your waiver request, your transcript, an unofficial transcript, and your syllabus for that course. But some people will waive a particular course. We have one student that I'm thinking of who came in, and he was doing a second graduate degree, and he said, I'd like to waive the econometrics class, Bill. And that's kind of an unusual request. And I talked with him about it for a few minutes. And basically that was the course he was teaching the year before he arrived here as a doctoral teaching fellow. So yeah, you probably could waive that course. He had that coursework already. I mentioned the database course. It's important to know that this course covers both relational and non-relational databases. And so many people have had a great database course, but no experience with non-relational or NoSQL databases. So if you don't have that, please don't apply for a waiver because it will be rejected. And I just want to save you the time. Now, you're here. You've got your registration in. Fatima's got you registered. We're taking classes. We're having fun. We're doing good things. What's the next step? I talked about getting on that flight path and getting up to altitude. What do we do next? So let's start planning towards the end in mind. Think about where we're going. You want to make sure you have a plan to complete all of your core courses. Now, some students will choose to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're done with all their core courses. Other students will say, I've done 2 or 3 of my core courses in my first semester or 2, but now I want to start slipping in some other electives so I can become really competitive on the job market for that internship next summer after 18 credits. So you can start thinking about slipping in some of your electives that are BUON courses. Some students want big data. Some students want machine learning. They want data visualization. They want to slip those in. Some students choose to, use some of the other courses that we have on the cohort schedule. It might be an MIS course that we offer, like data visualization. Some of your electives that you take will also count as your internship or practicum. So those courses, the internship course, the practicum course, count towards your elective credits. And that's important to remember. Now, I always get this question, Bill, what do I actually get when I leave here? Well, what you get when you leave here is you've got a folder that says UT Dallas on it. And when you open it up, it's got a piece of paper that says, we're going to mail your degree in a few weeks after we've made sure you satisfied all the requirements. Well, that's cool. You got walked across stage, you got a nifty folder. Fatima saw hundreds of those folders this week, as I did at graduation. But when you get that diploma in a few weeks, it's going to say Master of Science in Business Analytics. It's not going to say Flex. It's not going to say Cohort. It's not going to say online. It just says MS Business Analytics, and it does not list a track. The tracks are pre-approved buckets of electives. So in the online program, we specialize in the data science electives. There may be one or two others that we slip in there, but it's mostly data science. The cohort program, we pick and choose from two tracks, the accounting analytics track and the data science track. And we might pick and choose one or two courses from data engineering because that's so closely aligned with and supporting data science. But we really focus on data science or accounting analytics in the cohort program. Students that say, well, I really want to go do a couple of courses in marketing analytics, or I want to do some courses in financial analytics because my undergrad degree was finance. You can do that. Now, there's two ways you can do that. You can later transfer over to the Flex program and pick and choose from any of the electives, or you are allowed as part of your electives to take 6 credits of any master's level courses from the Jindal School. So you might say, well, I'm going to take 6 credits of financial analytics, and you can do that and stay in the cohort program and pay the cohort tuition, but you're going to go over and take a couple of courses from the Flex program. And when you do that, you will incur the higher Flex tuition. It's about $1,000 a course more, roughly, in the long semesters. But you can do that, and you do have that flexibility. So I want to make sure everybody knows we can do a lot of things as we go through the tracks. There are also a couple of things that I encourage all students to think about. We have 2 graduate certificates. In my first master's, I did an MS and I did a graduate certificate. I didn't do anything extra for the graduate certificate except apply for it because the courses I needed for it were part of my master's. And we have the same thing here where we have a graduate certificate in applied machine learning and a graduate certificate in business intelligence and data mining. The graduate certificate in applied machine learning requires 4 courses. If you look very carefully, you'll see that Buon 6359 and 56 are both core courses. Everybody's going to take those. And then the other 2 are the machine learning and the NLP course. So you could easily complete this certificate and have an extra line on your resume that says, I've also completed a graduate certificate in applied machine learning while you're doing your analytics degree. The other one is the business intelligence data mining certificate. And for that one, you would take 4 courses, and the 6309 BDW, the business analytics with SAS or business analytics with R, the advanced BA with R, and the stats are, again, those are all courses that are offered in our programs. The ones in bold are ones that we offer. Actually, 6334 is also offered in our program. The only one that isn't there is the lower level stats course. So basically, if you choose your courses and your electives right, you could get both of these certificates. And the time to apply for those is after you're admitted and you're registered. You have to do it before the semester you graduate, but if you're already enrolled, you don't pay an application fee or anything. So it's just apply. So that's a really good thing to do. Okay, let me pause because I've been going a few minutes now and I know you have questions. So let's stop and take a minute to answer questions you have about academics and courses and things that you want to know. So I'm going to throw the floor open to all of you. If you want to come on camera, that's okay. If you don't want to, that's okay too. I got dressed up. I got my best UTD shirt on for you.
Team spirit.
That's right.
Well, while we wait for someone to have a question, I want to remind everyone, if you have not been enrolled yet, I am still working on registration. You will be receiving an email from me either later tonight or tomorrow. If you have not submitted your registration request, please do that as soon as possible because you may incur late registration fees if you do it late. And I do apologize, my dog is snoring in the background and you're going to hear her.
That's all right. As long as it's your dog and not me. This has been a really, really long week. Fatima knows that I started out my Monday morning, very early Monday morning Dallas time, doing an evening keynote in Hyderabad. And so my week has been bookended with, Teams meetings like this or Zoom meetings. Questions from anyone? Go ahead, Anshul.
Yeah, hi, Bill. So I wanted to ask, so I did register for a course, but I wasn't aware that we could do the prereq together with the course. So now if I want to change my course, can I do it before the class starts or do I need to attend one class of that course before I change it?
If you send email to MS Buon Cohort or send it directly to Fatima, either one is fine, and ask her to make the change, we'll get that change made.
Oh, okay, great. So I do not have to attend a class before I change.
No.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, Bill. That was my question. Thank you.
Make sure your request comes from your UTD email account because it has to be official.
Good point. Good.
Yes, I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Use your UTD email with us, please. Amruta, hi.
Hi, Bill. I'm Amrut.
Doing well. Go ahead, Amrut.
Yeah, fine. I just have a doubt that I have registered my classes and what's the deadline to pay the registration fee for the courses, or what's the procedure to pay the fee for registration?
I'm jumping ahead, looking for something here. Where did I put it? Did I take it out? While I'm looking for the picture, I may have taken it out because it's changed. Normally, the deadline to pay is first day of classes. We also know that for those who have scholarship, that scholarship will not post until the after the add drop deadline or census day. And so if you know you're not going to pay until after the scholarship post, we just ask you to reach out to us to let the finance office know so they can get you set up correctly so you're not being marked as being in arrears and not paid.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
It's crazy timing. But they normally use the first day of classes as the date that's due now. Some people also, and I don't know if any of you have this situation, have loans or funding that are coming in and it's coming in, at a different time or something. If you have that kind of situation, reach out to us so we can get you in touch with the finance office so we can get the proper setup for you so that your payments can be made when you get funded.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I got a loan, so it takes approximately 3 to 5 business days in order to fulfill the payment. So that's why I'm asking it in prior.
Yeah, and do you need to have the invoice or the billing amount before you can get it funded?
Um, okay, I'll just wait for the regular time. Um,
Because some people have the additional challenge of they have to wait for us to bill them before they can give it to their lender, before their lender can pay them to pay the school. You know, that also puts a little delay in.
yeah, sure. That's what I'm asking. I
Yeah,
want it to be billed so that I can pay it as soon as possible.
right, right. Okay. So what you might do is put a note to us explaining that, and we'll forward that on to the finance office
Yeah, sure.
so that they can be in touch with you to set up the right payment schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I've enrolled for business analytics with R and advanced statistics. My class start from Tuesday. After getting this TB test and after getting those results, can I directly join the class? It's face-to-face classes, so that can I directly go to this department and join the classes on Tuesday?
So when will you have your medical test results back?
Given the blood samples like a couple of day earlier, I might get it tomorrow for sure.
Okay, so as long as you have your test result turned into the health center, you're okay to attend classes. So you just go immediately to your class and join.
Yeah, yeah, sure. That's it.
Okay? Technically, the reason I asked about your testing is technically you have to have cleared your medical before you can go to class. I actually had somebody a few years ago who had he had a strange result, and they wouldn't let him come to class for about 6 weeks. So we worked out something where he was at home and I was sending work to him.
Oh,
And then he showed up about midterm.
oh, that was
That
great.
was tough for him.
Oh,
Okay, any other questions?
Hi, Bill. Hi, Fatima. So I have a few questions here. So the first thing is, I was not aware of taking the TB test right now before attending the classes. So that's mandatory, which I've got to know right now from the conversation we had. And the second thing is that there's the subject advanced statistics for data science. And I am completely from a computer science background, and I do not have any idea about the statistics subject. So how important it is for me to take the subject? Is it a core subject? Could you please give me a heads on about that?
It is a core subject. It is very important for you to take. It's a prerequisite or co-requisite to the BA with R class. And so you do want to have that. You do want to have that class in your first semester if you can. Coming from a computer science background, you may have had a probability course, but maybe not an advanced stats course or a multivariate stats course. And so this course starts out at the same level as the beginning course, and then it moves beyond that. And so that this course was designed to support our program. So this is one thing I would recommend first semester students, start with their stats course to make sure they have that before they go on to other courses, because it is a prerequisite.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. So that is, I had a call with Fatima, and she suggested me that because this is my first semester in UTD. So along with advanced statistics for data science, which is a face-to-face class, I'm taking another web class, which is database foundations for business analytics.
Right.
Yeah, so these both are the classes. And about the fee payment procedure, Bill, could you please help me with like what's the procedure for that, and what's the first semester fee that we're supposed to pay?
The percentage of the fee?
Yeah, like what is the procedure? I mean, how do I pay the fee and when is the last date? So I've just got to know that the first day of classes is the last day to pay the fee. Am I right?
Yeah. So you're gonna find on your portal your invoices and see it. The other thing I put up on the screen just now is something that I recommend to all students, whether you're international or not, but especially for international students. There's a pre-arrival and a post-arrival checklist. And so if you look at the post-arrival checklist, things that you should do after arriving here include things like do your international student orientation, take your TB screening if you were born outside the US. It must be administered and tested in the US. Submit copies of your immigration documents to ISSO and do the new student check-in. That's a requirement so that they know your I-94 data and that you arrived in the US and can report you properly. You must complete a new student check-in with ISSO. Update your local addresses. Now, some of you are still in the process of moving, but as you get your local addresses and phone number, you need to update those in Orion. Receive the academic calendar. Well, we've talked about that with Dean Powell today, and that's so important to get that calendar and know it. Here's a whole list of the holds you need to think about. And these are examples of some of the ones that you may find on your records that say meningitis vaccine or TB screening or complete check-in, or there's an enrollment hold because you're missing documents. And then here's pay your tuition and fees is the next one on the list. Get your comment card. That's your student ID. So this checklist is really helpful for going down the list of things to do. And I just went to the UT Dallas website and searched for new student checklist to find these checklists. And there's a link here for a PDF if you want to print it off and put it in your notebook and mark things off as you do them. But this is a great resource to help you.
Thanks.
Now, Shini, you said you had some other questions too, so I'm going to let you move on to your next out.
Thanks for that, Bill. I think right now I'm just yeah. These are the questions that I have.
Okay.
I'll get back to you later if I have any.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Hi, Bill and Fatima.
Hi, Varun. Where in the world are you today, my friend?
Currently, I am in Mumbai, India.
You're still in Dubai.
Yes, sir. I actually just received my student visa 24 hours before.
Okay, because you had told me you were waiting for your passport to come back, and I can remember the very first time I went to Washington, D.C. and sat at the embassy all day waiting to get my passport stamped and my visa entered into it so I could come the other direction and come to India. So I've been through that a few times.
Yes, sir. So actually, I had one question about the registration.
Okay.
Is there a deadline for the registration? Because I didn't want to submit anything before receiving the passport.
Okay, so here's the situation. You're in a very interesting situation where if your passport does not arrive in time for you to get here and start classes be registered, go through all your screening, all your testing, and start classes be registered in by Census Day, what you're going to need to do is defer until fall. But it's better that you don't register for summer until you know you're coming and going to be here, because if you register right now and then end up having to defer because things are so delayed, they will not process a deferral because you've already been registered and withdrawn. They will ask you to reapply. So
yes,
we don't want to go through that extra step for you.
Actually, I just received my passport and I'm arriving in the US by tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. So if you know you're coming by tomorrow, then you're going to be able to start your processing and things probably on Monday to get your testing done, everything. I would send Fatima your request to get registered now then, so that she can get you set up in your classes by the time you're ready.
Yes, sir. So I can register online before the TB test, right?
Yes.
Sure, sir. Can I get a mail ID so that I can mail the request for the registration?
Fatima, do you want to address that, because you've sent the registration materials out?
Yes, let me look you up on my computer here, and I will send it to you directly. It will go to your UTD email account. There's a process that you have to go through to register, because you're a student, you also need to complete the tuition payment questionnaire. Without it, I will not be able to enroll you. So keep that in mind. Give me just a second.
So for a new student like you, Varun, there's two parts to it. One is you have to fill out the registration about the courses so Fatima can get you registered. The second part of that is a tuition questionnaire that asks about payments and your commitment to pay your fees and tuition. And we need to have that to be able to get you set up in the system, and then she can get you registered.
And I just sent that to you, Maroon.
I had one more question here. So
Yeah.
really, I wasn't aware that I also need to get the TB test. So I have scheduled an appointment for tomorrow just now with CVS. So are CVS tests admissible?
You'll have to, we don't do medical testing or immigration or visa things in the academic program. So what I would do is tell you to go onto the UT Dallas website and search for the Student Health Center and TB test and see what tests they accept. Whether it's the CVS now, TB test is, I forget who asked that.
It's Achal. It's Achal, Bill.
Okay, Anshul, you're moving from Austin though, right?
Yes.
But are you coming in from abroad?
Oh, yes. So like I moved to US like 3 months back. So
Okay, so you need to, you're kind of, I don't know about your case, because you need to look at what the Student Health Center says, because that test is required of international students. But if you've been in the US for some period of time, I don't know if it's required or waived or what. So double check that about what tests they allow and whether you fall in that category or not.
Okay, and Fatima, just one thing. So I am yet to be registered. So do I need the TB test before registration, or I could give it later?
No, I'm working on the registrations tonight, so I will be able to register you without it. But attending the class in person, that's different. You have to have a negative TB test before you can attend in person.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to make sure everybody has here is information about some key resources to find. And we've talked about the Business Analytics program and our staff. I mentioned ISSO for international students. Anything that deals with visa or anything, we're going to refer you over to them. Because we don't handle those here. And then the Career Management Center is going to be a great resource for all of your things around career workshops and recruiting and interviewing and resume writing, anything. Campus Police is another great resource if you ever need them. It's just remember 2222 is our local university police number. So I'm looking at the time. We're going to run out of time here shortly. I want to give you a chance to come back with any last questions, but also make sure you know you can reach out to myself or to Fatima. Mohit is, I think he's left. But I was going to say he could reach out to Professor Shekhar or Fatima for the online program. I'm happy to field any questions I can. If I can't, I'll forward them on. So I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. And if you have questions, please jump in now or shoot us an email.